Hello, everybody. I'm hoping that a couple more people are going to join in this time because nobody showed up last time. One person. Yeah, I know it's only 6 o'clock in the morning, but for God's sakes, come on, come on. Hey, cat's trying to get out the door. Hold on, I'll be back. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Oh, hey, listen, I've got to tell you, did you see fucking Carol Vorderman? I mean, we all used to think she was hot when she was on like Countdown. She was young, she was a little bit squidgy. Older blokes used to love her. I mean, my dad, he was always going on about, oh, that clever girl. Oh, she's so smart. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, years down the line, she's got tits out there. She's got a fucking arse like Kim Kardashian now. She says she hasn't touched cosmetic surgery. Duh. Yeah, righto. And Michael Jackson never touched any kids in his life. Anyway, today, look, what we're going to do, we are going to go through. This is a really important subject, and this is the Car and Tyler of the compilation albums right here. Oh, yeah, John Heaton did a video, and he said he don't like compilation albums, so as a result, his video was pretty shit. But we're gonna start this. Really important. Now, some of these aren't compilation albums. We're gonna go through the albums more or less that the Beatles weren't the original studio albums. All right. So let's go. We have not got a lot of time. First one, I've reviewed it. Oldies but goldies. 10 out of 10 without a doubt. Brilliant. 1966 that one come out. Anyway, this is Alan Klein, their supposedly evil manager, but actually a business genius. He arranged, and I think he chose the records for these two wonderful compilations, which showed up in 1970. 73, because I mean, the bootlegs collections were all out there. I've never seen one of them, but this was before my time. This we had a foreign student staying with us at the time from France called Philippe. Now, when these both come out, he bought both of these, and he took home 62 to 66, and he gave the family this, so it was hanging around. It was really the only Beatle record we had in the house when we was growing up, and it was scratch to fuck. We all loved it. We all got into it this way. Oh, my brother, my two sisters, my mum, even my dad liked a couple of them. But anyway, this is the high point of the compilation albums. This is if you want to know the Beatles, you just come off the spaceship and you I want to listen to some good music, and this is it. If you want the Beatles in a nutshell, these 4 albums, but 2 discs. It's better that way. Okay, I didn't forget this one, but here it is. It's a pile of shit. I've done a review of it. It's the Christmas album. Nothing more to say about it. Now, afterwards, this is one of my favourites. We've been talking about this a lot. We have been talking about this one a lot. It is very, very good. It's possibly, if you take away the importance of the Blue and the Red album, this one here is important in its own right. Now, I got this as 2 separate discs when it came out. It was split into 2. So I never got hold of the double album until about 1982, I think. But I was really pleased with the 2, Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's one of my favourites. It's so different to all the bullshit compilations, because later on we got stuff and it was, with love songs, it all started repeating the same old bullshit. So that one's, not available anymore, but it was a good one. It was a good compilation. And also they tried to do a more up-to-date version, more pretentious version of this. I think it was iTunes. Tomorrow Never Knows. It's supposed to be the Beatles' rocky rock songs. it ain't no better than this. It's not. It's not better, and it is a fucking pretentious album. But we get to that in a minute. This is good though. This is brilliant. 10 out of 10 for that one. uh, anyway, this was released in various different forms. It's the old Tony Sheridan sessions. Now it's the beginning for the Beatles. These records were about the first that got recorded by the Beatles officially in Germany in 1961, and you've got about 2 tracks, I think, really you can call Beatle track. There's one instrumental called "Cry for a Shadow," and there's John doing a version of "Ain't She Sweet," which is pretty good. Anyway, this kept showing up all through the 70s and 80s. You know, if I said, "Oh, compilation album," the Beatles are also on this compilation album, and you thought, I know what it's going to be, "Ain't She Sweet" or "Cry for a Shadow" from this. You know, you couldn't get the Beatles. They were a premium band. You couldn't get them on. But this, it was floating around. I bet the Beatles hated it. I think they've probably bought the rights for this now, but it's important in a way, but it is crap. Anyway, next along was this never officially released, but through the CD, the anthology CD one, and what was the other one? An album called "I Saw Her Standing There." You've got all of this stuff on CD now officially, even though some of them I think might have been withdrawn. I think "I Saw Her Standing There" was withdrawn afterwards. Anyways, so they are Decca Audition. Now it's interesting. I mean, if you listen, you know it's no good. I mean, it's no surprise they didn't pass the audition, but it's historically important, and for that reason, you know, it can have in a way, it can have a 5 out of 10 for importance. But it's not vital. It's not vital, but historically important, including 3 Lennon McCartney tracks. Okay, so when we get to this, which I still don't think has been released officially, so I think George Harrison and his miserable fucking family did a high court injunction on it, so they couldn't release it properly. But it was released as an album in 1977. Hey, who met? Excuse me. So there you go. It's 2 albums, very badly recorded. It gets on the tits of the surviving Beatles, so a good reason to like it. You know, but it's interesting. I was listening to it quite a lot, and this was the songs from this was later divided into lots of different albums, and it was messy. They were all over the place. It was Tony Sheridan album, the Decca, or the non-Lennon McCartney songs on Decca, and the Star Club songs, and they were all mixed around and released on different albums all through the early 80s. I had loads of them, all the same shit. Some of them was quite well presented, you know, they look smart, but anyway, this is what you get. It's like I said, it's historically important. Again, I wouldn't give it more than a 5. Now, this one gets right on my tits. Love songs. It's somebody must have just sat down and says, "Well, about time we released another Beatle album, try and get some more money." Then this come out. It's not worth a wank. It's not worth a wank. And then the amazing, it got to #1. This did Hollywood Bowl. It's been re-released with a stupid cover plugging that dumb film, but this was good. I used to like this. Give it a 5 again. Now this was started getting things interesting. They released the album, all the albums in a box set in '78, and this was originally an exclusive disc only available in that box set, and then a year later it was released officially. Now this shit later mutated into Mono Masters 1 and 2. So really, I'm not going to talk about Mono Masters because this is a snappier version, just B-sides. It's not saying, oh, we're pretentious in any way. It's just songs that weren't on the albums, Long Tall Sally EP, B-sides, and other shit, like those two German songs. But important. Now, more interesting, now deleted, was the American version of Rarities. It's worth checking out. It's good. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't think, oh, these are rarities now, but back in the day, I got this in 1981 as an import on Parlophone from France. Was it Parlophone, or was it, maybe it was the Netherlands? Maybe it was a Dutch copy, but it was great to have this, and there was some good bits in it. There's some strange things that we had in England that the Americans hadn't had, so it was weird to hear "Don't Pass Me By" and stuff like that on there, and who cares? And I love her, but yeah, it's good. It's good. Now this one was a really good bargain because it cost at the time £4, 3.99. Now most compilation albums were upwards of £10, £15 in them days, so we are getting a good deal because there's 20 tracks on there, and they're all good ones. And I used to like this. I used to play this. It's essentially a more compact version of love songs, but much better value for money. You can't get it anymore. It's been deleted. But hey ho, real music. I mean, look at that cover. The artwork to put Van Gogh to shame is, look at that. I mean, I was quite excited when I heard about this release because I was really. This is about 1982, 83. This come out. Um, it, it brought nothing new to that. It had a lovely book with it, beautiful book of all the films, and but it just it don't. Oi, be quiet. She's playing with her mouth. She always gets like emotional when she's Sheba, Sheba, come here. Yeah, she just gets a bit emotional. Oi, come here, Sheba, Sheba. Yeah, she's got a little squeaky mouse, but it's like a comfort blanket. When she's close to it, she goes meow, meow. But anyway, so this is a pointless piece of shit, well and truly deleted. But like I said, when I heard it was being released, I thought, great. So what we're going to get this time is we're going to get some more interesting songs, not the same old hits, from Me to You, She Loves You, One Old Hand, Hard Days. I thought we're going to get, some of the tunes that were inside the film. So you don't have to have, you might have Help on the album, but you could also have The Night Before, or you've got you've got Hide Your Love Away, or some weird stuff like, the ones that are on the film. But anyway, it weren't. It was all like straightforward. Get Back was just, not Get Back, Let It Be, just represented by Let It Be and Get Back. And these, it is a pointless throwaway album. Sorry I ever bought it, really. Oh, and the artwork is fucking shit. Okay, so the next one, I haven't got it on me, but it was called 20 Greatest Hits. Now, this was a purer version of the Beatles one because the English and American charts were obviously different, and these were the 20 number ones that were relevant to the Beatles, and they had all got to number one, even though 17 number ones, but three like double A sides, and so they were all put onto an album. And the Americans had a better album because they had more interesting stuff like Penny Lane as a number one, and so it looks better, the America. And Yesterday and 8 Days a Week, we didn't have such classics, so Oz is a lot more messy looking. It hasn't got Let It Be at the end. It finishes on the Ballad of John and Yoko, and that's not a brilliant way to finish an album like that. But anyway, so those two albums were different. I haven't got them with me at the moment. It's the same bullshit. But the next one, I believe, came out was the Beatles at the BBC, and I'm going to put this second one together with it. And I remember back in the early 80s, they did a radio show, and I was all quite excited. So everybody, not even it was advertised, everybody was taping it. So of course I taped all that, and it's it. There's nothing really to it. The Beatles are put in a studio, and they're basically singing, or doing requests and things like that. It's very youth clubby sounding. You can tell without production, the Beatles are just no better than any youth club band, really. It's and the songs aren't very good, and there's I'd say about 50 to 100 of them, and there's a couple of good moments, and I think the main strength of the Beatles at the BBC compilation is to have strange songs that the Beatles had never recorded, like Besame Mucho and stuff like that. Weird stuff, which you can say, oh, well, I've got it's called a live album, but it's not live really. It's live from a studio, but so you haven't got screaming fans or anything. So it's like a studio album, but I ain't got a lot of time for it. I'll never listen to it. Historically, it had to be out there. And then we come up to these three fuckers. And boy, were we excited about this when they come out. Were we excited? Yeah, we were bloody excited. And of course, when I got them all, I was so fucked off. Out of those three albums, I could have just picked 20 tracks. Not even 20, probably 15 tracks. Now, if that, because of greed, they released all this bullshit. Some of them aren't even the Beatles. They've got an instrumental Eleanor Rigby. What's that got to do with the fucking Beatles? And there's a lot of live shit, which sounds pretty shit to me. And the humour seems to be like wearing really thin all the way through it. I know what they've tried to do with these albums, but you could. There's a highlight album for all the anthologies. It's not brilliant. It's not the songs I would have picked, but there's not in each album 1, 2, and 3. The first one probably being the most important because it's got how do you do it, which we'd read about, and we thought, I wonder what that sounded like. And now we know what it sounded like. Plus, you had a couple of the Decca Lennon McCartney songs which were missing, and some other really early stuff which is throwaway, but important in a way. But if I'd released an album, I wouldn't put that shit on it. I'd just put stuff. There's a version of One After 909 which is kind of interesting, a bit Everly Brothersy, but there's stuff like that which should have made the final cut. And then there's stuff which is absolute shit, which is about 80% of all these three albums. It's rubbish. But like I said, historically, people want all that bullshit out. I don't personally think tuning up on take 2 of Strawberry Fields is of any interest to anybody. But there you go. That's what we got. Tough. Anyway, we're followed with this very overrated album. It's a Frankenstein monster because, with the Red and the Blue albums, there's a collection of hits, and they're all great from start to finish of their career, album and singles. This is a collection of all the number ones, but it's cheating because it's not. Again, it's using double A sides for the English number ones, and it's also using American number ones. But the reason it doesn't make sense to me is why England and America? Why not Australia and England, or America and Australia's number ones? You see, all it's catering for is the British and American audience if you want it to have some kind of a meaning. But they're all number ones in England or America. It's not the album I would put a new fan onto, though. Like I said, I'd just say, put your hand in your pocket, go and get the Red and the Blue album, then you've got their story. This doesn't explain their story at all. It doesn't. And then we had this beautifully remastered Yellow Submarine song track. And it's good to hear very good versions of remastered versions of Eleanor Rigby. It sounds fantastic. Yellow Submarine gone back to basics with the extra A Life of Ease put onto here. And Hey Bulls Dogs sound brilliant. And also it's good to have Nowhere Man in such a nice condition, because it is fucking awful on Rubber Soul in stereo. But here they've turned the stereo Nowhere Man something a bit special. That's all I've got to say about that. This really had to be released because it used to fuck kids off for generations when they're, oh, that's a good beat. Oh, it's got Yellow Submarine, and get it home, it's a bunch of shit. Now at least you see that, you think, ooh, and you put it on, you've got Beatles. Great. Okay, next one. Not a lot of people like this one. I don't know why, but they don't. Oh, good morning, Doc Chinesky. You're not Doc Docus's brother, are you? What's your favourite drink down at the pub? I'll tell you, I like a Bacardi and Coke. No, that's quiz drink. No, I'll just drink a pint, me. I like Stella, but a lot of people, Stella sends them bonkers, doesn't it? So even me, I mean, my wife sees me like picking up a pint of Stella. She says, what are you drinking that for? You want to get that bloody Foster's or Heineken? It's piss though, isn't it? Foster's and Heineken. But I like that. And I also like a nice Shivers Regal whiskey, but I'm not allowed to drink that no more. Anyway, look, listen, we're going to talk about the love quickly. We'll just get through this. I'll answer all your questions. All right? Right. Now, the Love album. This was. I liked it. I did like it, and I'm still jealous because Matthew Street just been to see the show. I'd like to sit there for a couple of hours watching that, indulging in my Beatles love, and love. See, my love for the Beatles. It's good. It's not bad. I like it. Some of the things they've done in it are a bit stupid. Like there's an ambulance in between the Julia. But, it's pathetic. But anyway, it's there. Anyway, next along came this fucker. Now, due to this, I saw her standing there. It's got a lot of unreleased tracks from 1961, 62, very early 63, I think. No, 62 it goes up to. If you ain't got your hands on it, get it. It's historically as important as Anthology. But because of a contract, the 50-year the 50-year copyright on the songs has lapsed. So this got released by some very dubious means, but it was good because somebody got it out there. But as a result of this happening, I don't know if it's been withdrawn now because I think they fixed this 50-year problem, made it 100 years or something. I don't know, but look into it. But this, I don't think you get it anymore. But he's good, one of the best ones. But Parlophone, in their infinite wisdom, or Apple, whoever fucking released this, did this, and it's absolute shit. But if Parlophone hadn't released this bunch of fucking shit from all the unreleased stuff from 1963, it just would have been out there because it would have legally, anybody could have got those songs and released them. And that's the thing. That's why this shit got released. And then after that, the law got changed. So I think the Beatles are sitting pretty again. Anyway, so this is, I think, about the last one to my knowledge, and this is called Tomorrow Never Knows. It's just all of their. This is, I think it was only released on iTunes, but it's a collection of all their supposedly heavy rock songs, like Revolution and all that, all the stuff that was trendy to a young Beatles fan about this time, But it is pretentious. If you want this, you've got a much better deal to get the rock and roll album. Anyway, that's about it for the compilations, but we've got some curiosities here. This is the American version of Please Please Me, introducing the Beatles. A classic, but not as in America, not the classic, because it's a VJ, and VJ managed to, with Swan, managed to keep recycling these tracks that they'd got. from the Please Please Me album. And man, did they milk it. They must have done about 15 different albums. And just to stick with the VJ, there was an album in America which is absolutely appalling called The Beatles Stories. A lot of narration and the world's worst Beatles medley. Man, it's not love, I'll tell you that much. But VJ was still hanging around in the background at this point, and they got a couple of dubious interviews. Hear the Beatles, tell all. Yeah, I mean, this is all bullshit. It's bullshit. But I'd rather listen to the VJ because it's a bit more honest than this piece of shit. Now we've got this dreadful Hard Day's Night American version, not worth spitting on. And I didn't really miss this out, but it's a waste of time, total fucking waste of time. And finally, for all you collectors out there, this is the absolutely dreadful cover. I mean, look at it though. I mean, whatever it's supposed to mean, it's just an ugly cover. It really is. And it was replaced with an even more pointless sleeve. And I have to tell you one thing about the American albums. They're very tacky looking on the most part. I'm not talking about the ones that are more or less the same as the English sleeves, but the American sleeves are fucking, I mean, something new, so boring, isn't it? And what else was there? Yeah, Hard Day's Night, shabby. Help, they're not even spelling help right, they're spelling help or something like that, because if you look at the front, they're spelling help in Morse code like that. You know what I mean? So they're not spelling help on the American album. Joke. And of course, you've got the Beatles 6, you've got the Yesterday and Tomorrow and all that bollocks, and they look awful. Anyway, listen, this is about all I've got to say about these. We'll have more interaction later on. All right. In the meantime, ta-ta.